you in the.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead and share it. Yeah. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Hello, podcast listener. My name is Aaron Dunn. This is Strong Calm Podcast. Strong Calm Podcast. Calm, C-O-M. That root word that means together or in common. And I use that as a springboard to talk about three subjects that I'm very passionate about and that I help people with, namely communication, online and off, community building, online and off, and how those two things build stronger company, whether that's the company that you're building, like a business, or the company that you keep, like between people. So we're going live. If you would, share the stream. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, like the video, comment below. You know what to do online. If you've ever been, I mean, come on. If you don't know by now, you're probably my dad, because he avoids this like the plague. But we're going to have a great conversation with Daryl Phillips, a.k.a. DPhillGood, about art, about the metaphysical plane, about energy, vibrations, about, I mean, anything else that comes up. The local Tyler art market. We're going to talk about Lit Tyler. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk about all that stuff. Being an independent artist, about supporting local art and supporting local entrepreneurship and how that can be done. So yeah, welcome to the show. What's up, Philip?
It's lit.
What up, man?
It's lit.
I'm excited to have you,
bro.
He's hydrated. Look at this.
Hey, call me country. I don't care, man. I take this everywhere, and there's lemon in there.
Ooh, that's good for your metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
So
lemon purified.
Man, there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you about, but I feel like for the listeners, one, but also for me, because this is the first time in the longest time that we've had a conversation.
Thanks.
You've been on my radar just because of what you've been doing, you know, in the local community, as far as like your art. You know, I was aware of you before I ever got to actually meet you. You know what I mean? Okay. So now I get to meet you.
Yeah.
So I just want to be sure that everybody else gets to meet you as well.
Yeah, thank you, man.
And then we'll talk about communication. We're going to jump into the 3 C's: the communication, community, and company.
Yeah.
So who is DPhillGood in general?
In general, man, DPhillGood. So first of all, Daryl Phillips is my name. So DPhill was a shortening of that, and then the good is I want to feel good. Like my whole mission in life is to feel good. Like I'm an empathic person. Like I'm an empath. So like I feel everything, and I know that like that's what matters. Like positive energy, stuff like that. So that's why I chose that name. Like I put it together, like feel good. It's like a play on words, you know.
Yeah, it's a dope name.
Yeah, appreciate it, fam. Yeah, it's just stuck, and that's just what it is. Like, so yeah, me as a person, man, I represent the HEARTgang. Shout out to the gang. I know they in here, and yeah, it's just about searching your heart day in, day out, and that's what I pretty much have simplified my life into. It's like I'm searching my heart, using it as my compass to navigate through the universe. You know what I'm saying? To get to where I'm going, finding my passion and my purpose through my heartbeat. Like your literal, the people say follow your heart, but like they don't realize that actual means your physical like heartbeat. It's like a pulse. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you follow that energy, like you gonna find what you love, you know what I'm saying, naturally, and find your purpose about what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's how I found art. You know what I'm saying? That's how I started painting like full time, is because like I followed my heart and I stumbled into it. Like, so yeah, that's me. Like I'm just searching my heart every day, like just really I'm about evolution, you know, like just evolving.
That's dope. Yeah. All right, so you said you said some stuff there. Yeah, so like I want to dive in. We're gonna dive in. Come up a little bit because the mic's right here, so I want to make sure everybody can hear.
Yeah.
If you have a comment, if you have a question, be sure to leave it below, and we can actually feature it on this show. You can join the show. Did you know that? So just so you're aware, you can also share it with other people. That is possible on every platform. So I mean, take advantage of that. That's a shameless plug, but anyway, so to get back into it, you mentioned that I love the HEARTgang idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you know, that it for one, I love polarity. Like, you know, you're operating on different poles, right? So we're like you say heart, which is, you know, one idea, and then you got gang, which is like,
I'm glad you noticed
wait,
that.
it's a it's a conflicting idea. So but
I'm
you
glad
know,
you noticed that, bro.
of course, man.
And that's why I put gang in lowercase letters.
Right. So
because I want the emphasis to be on the heart. But you know, gang, yeah, like you say, automatically people gonna think gang, oh, it's a gang, like it's a negative stigma with that word.
Right. But I mean, your whole vibe and attitude and just the way you present yourself, that is definitely not gang. You know what I mean? Like if
gang,
like,
gang.
or if it is, it's a gang that I want to be a part of. I'm like, hey, that sounds cool. Yeah, exactly. So, but before we get into that a little bit, I do want to touch on what you said about following your heart and like how you found yourself in painting.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit. Like, what's your artistic career thus far? Like how did take us to the first brush of paint that you did, and then like when you said, oh, okay, I'm going in.
So do you want me to start like where HEARTgang came from, or do you want me to start with that?
Just like you.
Just okay, cool.
Like, so, like how you got into becoming an artist.
Yeah. So like throughout my life, when I was 5, I played piano. I would say that was my introduction into art, into expressing myself. So like I started playing piano, like my mom growing up in the church and stuff, like she's a singer, like my whole family is like into music pretty much, like my grandparents, everybody. Like, so yeah, I started there with the piano, and then like in school, you know, like I would doodle and stuff, like a little bit, like Pokemon, like I was really into Pokemon, so like I would like try to make my own Pokemon characters. Like it would really be abstract, like crazy looking stuff. Yeah, you know, and I can see how that plays into my art today. But yeah, like I would doodle and everything, and like as I got older, you know, I would dabble, like I would be in my room and paint stuff on the walls, you know what I'm saying, just here and there though. Like it wasn't nothing like serious. It would just be like, oh, like I'll get an idea and I'm just kind of just going, like letting the pen move. Yeah. But as far as like getting consistent, like where I am now, like with just being like, oh, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, like I found it, was about 2017. I made a hoodie. Like I had a hoodie and I had the idea. I was just like, man, I'm gonna put some planets on my hoodie, and I'm gonna just like, I just saw it in my head. It was just a vision. And so I made the hoodie, and I was wearing it one day at a gas station, and like, and this goes back to following your heart, because it was random. Like I just stopped at the gas. I was like, man, I'm gonna get a fruit punch. Like I'm just on the way home. And so I'm in there, and like this guy, like 60-year-old white dude, like behind me, like buying a pack of beer or whatever. And like, you know, I wasn't thinking nothing of it. I get in line, and he was like, hey, who made your hoodie? And I was like, me. And then he was like, oh, do you take orders for him? And I was like, yeah, like, yeah, I do. And then he was like, how much you charge? And then I was like, $25 or something. He was like, oh, that's too. He was like, what? That's it? And I was like, is that a good price? That's too much. He was like, no, that's too low. Anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, like that, when I found out I could make money too, I was like, oh snap. Like people actually, you want my classroom little doodles and stuff? Like you interested in it? Like you want to wear this? Cool. So yeah, I just never stopped. Yeah. Ever since. Validation right there. In a way, yeah, a little bit, like because I would still do it for even if like nobody like would pay me for it, I still do it for myself, you know. But it was just like at this point, I'm like, okay, like it's bigger than me. Like, oh, like this is something people like want, like say to, you know. So how would you describe your art style? Off top, like I guess I'll be with the abstract thing. Sometimes I don't like putting myself with that label, because like it's just like I think people don't like. They don't value abstract art as much as realism and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Or like a different style of art. Like they see abstract, it's like, oh, you could just like throw some splats on a jacket or something. Anybody, I could do that. People have this thing. So I don't like to call myself that, but people would say abstract. I haven't really gave myself a label, to be honest, but most people would say I'm abstract. Yeah. I don't know. I think. So the first time that I saw your art was on one of the, what do they call those things? Those boxes? It's like the Keep Tyler Beautiful. Yeah, Keep Tyler. They do like the utility boxes. Utility boxes. So brilliant idea. Why didn't they do that 10 years ago? Yeah. Like the ugly, gray, dumb boxes that nobody, you know what I mean? They're useful. They got to have them. Yeah, exactly. Let's put something there. So I'm so glad that Keep Tyler Beautiful did that. Yeah, shout out to Keep Tyler Beautiful, Berlin. It just raises the profile of Tyler so well. And so that's the first time that I became aware of you, because, you know, and you were part of like the first kind of initial batch. We were talking about it earlier of like of boxes that come out, but yours stood out to me in a little different way, because it was definitely like, whoa, like this is not, you know what I mean? Like not roses. It's no not roses. No diss at all. I love roses. Exactly. It wasn't roses. It wasn't a portrait. It wasn't a landscape. And it took me a while to figure out what it was. It was black, but then it's got all these bright colors on it, and it's a hammer, right?
Is it a hammer? What is it?
Oh man, that's dope. I like that.
What is it?
It's a basketball goal.
It's a basketball goal? See, I don't even know. So
that's dope. That's dope that you see a hammer. That's wow. I would have never like. Bro,
that's crazy.
I never seen a hammer, bro.
That's
I gotta go look at it now.
And maybe I'm just crazy. And I'm
bro. Art is crazy. Art's crazy. You're not crazy. Art's crazy.
So right. So well, now that I know it's a basketball goal, I'm gonna have to look at it again and be like, man, am I crazy? But at the same time, I was like, oh, I think it's a hammer because like I finally figured out who you were. And I was like, this dude would do like a universe looking hammer that's like pow,
like
you know,
Thor.
Maybe you wouldn't, I don't know. But yeah, I was like, it's got the energy about it.
Oh.
But now I know it's a basketball goal. I'm just totally wrong. It's whatever. But
no, that's cool, bro. I'm glad you told me that because like that makes me fascinated like about people and like perception.
Yeah, and then art in general, how it communicates to people. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about that a little. Let's jump into the 3 C's then, right? So communication, HEARTgang, DPhillGood. Like you've got a lot of messages happening. You know what I mean? That you're curating, that you're creating. You go to your Instagram. I highly encourage everybody to go to the Instagrams below. You can see them. You can see his artwork as we chat. You've got a lot of bright colors happening, and I really love how all the colors work together. I feel I'm a creative person, but I've never felt very confident in my visual talent. Like I'm not like I can't draw very well.
Okay.
I don't really understand colors very well. I got to do a lot of cheating. I feel like to know what colors go together. But for you, like all the like everything like works for whatever reason. It looks kind of throwback. Like neons and like 80s. Got an 80s kind of feel and stuff.
Definitely inspired by the 80s.
So talk a little bit about like about that, your inspirations and what you're trying to communicate with your art.
Well, one thing that I've noticed, I will have this this like tendency to put exclamation marks in my pieces. And like sometimes you will look at some of my pieces, it might take you a while to see it, but like you'll see like an exclamation mark, or I'll put it in there like in some kind of way. And like I think for me, in conjunction with the loud colors, it's like I'm making a statement. Like I want it to be bold, I want it to be loud. It's like a yell almost, like like I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a good example of like the yell. but it's like, you know, it's like boom, like it's in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like it's loud, it's fun, like it's energetic, like it's like I just want everybody to have a good time. I want everybody to be free. You know, I think that's one of my biggest like inspirations. And like when I look at the 80s and the 90s, like and just seeing the vibe of like how people were more just like dancing and they were just like more carefree, and it's like what happened, you know what I'm saying? I was actually talking to my dad about that one day, and like the song Word Up by Cameo was on the radio, like it came on, and I was like, bro, like what was the club like back then, like in the 80s? Like he was like, I was like, it looked lit. He was like, it was. And I was like, what? And he was like, crack. Like crack changed everything, like drugs, like consciousness like got rewired basically, and like then like programming from TV and stuff, like showing you about how
we're on drugs.
That like, man, I got a story about my evolution with that too, not drugs, but like programming from TV and stuff. Yeah, especially like as a black man, you know what I'm saying, like watching the different BETs or like mainstream stuff, and thinking like, oh, that's who we are. But like my evolution started when I was in 10th grade. This group called the Cool Kids. I don't know if you heard of them.
Cool Kids.
Yeah, you know. Hey, Mikey Rocks.
Yeah, a little bit of gold on the page.
Yeah. Hey, if you know, you know.
Yeah, bro.
If you know, you know. Yeah.
Got in my pocket, looking at my wallet.
Like, on the page.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Black Mags,
the production.
All that. Oh man, Chuck English, come on.
Yes.
Yeah, they're my guys, man. So like really that's where my evolution started. Cause like before that, I kind of was just like following the crowd in a way. Like I was just kind of blending in with everybody. But I saw a commercial, it was a Rhapsody commercial. It was them, and like they had on like some fur and like some like gas station wolf t-shirt.
Yeah,
and,
bro.
like,
they were
shades. I'm like, yo, they weird. Like, who is this? Like I had never seen it. And like I heard the production, like you said, like the beat, and I'm like, what? So yeah, like basically I kept seeing the commercial. I'm like, man, let me look into them. So I look into them, and like I just started gravitating to their music. You know what I'm saying? And like I started dressing, like I started switching on my style. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I can put this together. I can put colors. Like I don't have to dress like everybody else. I can do what I want. So then from there, it just exploded. Like I got into MIA, like Daft Punk, like all these different musicians, like from around the world, you know, and they definitely like opened my mind. And that's where I would say
awesome.
like most of my inspiration, like people like them, like MIA, big inspiration, you know, Paper Planes. Yeah, her, like she a big inspiration to me too. So
yeah, I love that.
Like that. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Not a lot of people know about the Cool Kids.
I know. Yeah,
they've been underground for a long time.
Yeah,
and but they're dope.
Yeah, I love them, man. To this day, like I will always honor them as an inspiration. Like they changed my life. They really did.
Because there's back to what you're saying, and I kind of want to touch on that. Let's stay on that about like mass communication and how we have influences all the time, right? Beating us over the face. If it's TV, if it's social media, what have you, we're always battling these, digesting these different things. So talk about what you were talking about like how you
the identity.
So like BT, MTV, all these other places are saying this is who you are. So you felt like you were being told who to be, rather than be who you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, and then when you see everybody around you following the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Even if you have an abstract idea of like what you want to do, you just like, dang, well, I feel weird because like everybody else is doing this. You know what I'm saying? So you either like keep it to yourself or like you just all together throw it out the window and then like you following. And like with that, like people might call me conspiracy theories, but I think the programming is on purpose. Like for whatever it is, it's on TV. Like honestly, like whatever that mainstream main vein is, bro. Like this, bro. Like it's programming. You know, like it's an agenda. Like real talk. Like that's the way I see it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what kind of aligned to that, and then kind of bring it. No. Like I like what you're saying, and I kind of want to touch on. Kind of we'll get into it a little bit. So like with
spiritual war,
right? One thing that I like about your music, I'm glad you brought up Cool Kids because that gives us an opportunity to talk about the YouTube, exactly, the YouTube video that you put out. And man, I always want people to like express themselves, do their thing, all that kind of stuff. But you always too want to make sure that it's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like when I clicked on there and you just started spitting, I was like, oh, he knows how to rap. And you weren't rapping like, anybody else. You were rapping like you. You're rapping. You clearly have a message. You clearly have the heart, like you go back to, and it was like positive, somewhat uplifting. You know what I mean? So talk about that a little bit, because I was like, oh, I gotta have him on now because it seemed like you had something to say, and it's you are charting your own path. So like, I'll ask this: given that we have these influences, and we're having to battle those all the time, and then we're also at the same time trying to find ourselves in that. Yeah. How do you do that?
How do I do that?
How do you communicate authentically from the heart?
Man, great. Oh, I love it. I love the question, bro. So, like I said, HEARTgang is a dedication. Like you really, where that came from was like when I'm tapped into my heart space and like other people just tapped into their heart space. That's what the gang is. Like it's all connected. You know what I'm saying? So with me finding my artistry and like what I like, who I am and like what I want to say, it's a constant dedication of you searching your heart every day. So with that being said, like you are unraveling yourself, like you're basically I could equate it to like a chisel, like you're chiseling things like off your heart to like feel a good vibration, you know what I'm saying? Like to be true to where your love is, you know what I'm saying? Because ultimately that's what's gonna transcend anything. It's like the power of the heart transcends anything. So like it's me, like when it comes to for rap, for example, like I tell people all the time, like because I actually was rapping before I was painting. Like I used to think like music was gonna be like my end all be all. So like I was rapping first. And like I used, like back then, you know, it was just kind of about like whatever, like I'm just saying stuff that sound cool. But like now where I am in life, like if I'm getting behind the mic, I gotta make sure I'm saying something. First of all, like rapping is more vulnerable to me. Like rapping for me is very vulnerable because like with art, like with painting, it's more mysterious. Like sometimes I just get a vision and I don't really know where it's coming from. You know, it's like God will just be moving my hand. You know what I'm saying? But like with rap, like I'm fully aware, like of like where, like what I'm saying in the like you said, the communication that I'm trying to like say to people, like I'm very aware of it, so it's very vulnerable.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and that's why honestly I kind of shy away from it because like I'm still getting comfortable with myself and learning myself to be vulnerable, like about things like that I know people, like other people are going through too. You know what I'm saying, and they need to hear the message. So like that's where like a lot of my raps are abstract as well as my art because it's just like it's an abstraction, like it's like I'm putting it together in a creative way to like where it feels good, you know. So like basically that communication is like for example, like I'm into like chakras and stuff like that. Like so that's something that I feel like is true to me. So like dealing with like masculine and feminine energy, like the balance of that, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to communicate those ideas to the people. Like so yeah, that's part of the like communication, like what I want to say to people.
Yeah. It calls to mind the quote from the outpouring of your heart, the mouth speaks.
Exactly.
Right? Or scripture, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's in the Bible.
And then yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
And so that's essentially what you're talking about, right? And like
yeah, you get to the core of yourself, like it's breaking, like you say, like the outside influences are always like it's basically it's kind of like following the heart is a lot of blind faith. Like I rarely know where I'm going, but I feel like I'm going in the right. Even coming here, like it's just like I might not be able to see it, but like I know like this is the right place to be. Like it's the right decision. Yeah. So it's like that. Like it's like faith over like sight, basically.
Yeah, there's scripture there too. I feel I resonate with that because that's how I've gotten to where I'm at. Wherever I am, you know what I mean? Like people who might see whatever I do, they say, he's there. Wow. You know what I mean? Like I imagine some people do that. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's my ego talking or something like that. But like at the same time, I see my own trajectory and my growth, right? And like I can only go off of what I believe is going to be a good next step. It's that intuition.
Exactly.
It's that like I don't exactly know where it's gonna go. Yeah, but I know I know I'm going.
Supposed to be doing. Yeah, you know you're going. Yeah.
So like it's really important to do that. I think, and I think there's not enough people doing it. Yeah, there's not enough people that are bold enough or true enough to themselves to say, this is it. This is me, and I'm okay with whatever it is. I'm okay with saying, you know, like me saying Strong Calm Podcast. I'm okay with 10X. I'm okay with wearing a, you know, colorful hat and just like coming out with a different view of things. Yeah. Like I think that there's something to be said that I think everybody's got that somewhere in them. Yeah. It's just a matter of
that's deep, man. That's like some interstellar, like inside yourself talk. You know what I'm saying? Well, because they go back to what you were saying about like the outside world and the internal world. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. And that's what the gang, like HEARTgang, like your heart is in your body. Like it's inside. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think like that keeps me rooted, like from not getting lost in my head. Because if you go off sight from what you see around you, like you're gonna like just like attach it to surface level. Like a lot of times I'll talk to people and they be like, bro, like we going deep. And I'm like, duh, like that's life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's inside you, like it's in your heart. Like we in our heart space. Right. So the certain people, I think that's a part of the matrix where people get like trapped and they fall into stuff that they don't need to be in because they look at the surface and they take their things for face value. But in reality, that's not life. This stuff is an illusion, like real talk. Like, this isn't. Even what I'm saying right now is coming from source, like it's coming from somewhere else.
Yeah. See, I love that, and that's why I kind of wanted to have you on too. Is just like to talk about that kind of stuff because it's like it's weird. It can feel woo woo and like not. You know what I mean? Like like when you start talking about.
I know. I'm an outer space guy, man.
That type of stuff, but
I'm an outer space guy.
But I think that there's so much truth in it. I think that there is so much truth in that so many times, like we're talking about art, right? We're talking about self-expression.
Right.
And I think so many times that in our life, we allow ourselves to be suppressed
Right.
by everything else, that we never find a way to actually self-express and become the person that we're trying to be,
right,
or that other people need us to be.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know,
really, yeah. No, that's true, because it is all connected. Like that's what you said. Like, and that's why I know like my art form is for other people now. Like it's for me, but like just seeing how people gravitate and they say certain things to me, and I'm like, I feel like a superhero. Like like that's the art is my superpower. Like I'm creating these things. Like, and a lot of times the visions come like out of nowhere. Like I'll be on my way to sleep or something, and I just boom, like I'll see some colors.
Right.
And I'll be like, oh, okay, I gotta go lay these colors down real quick. Like, and I'll be trying to go to sleep. Sometimes I get annoyed. I'll be like, dang, like I just want to go to sleep. But then like it just keeps bombarding me. And I'm like, okay, babe, let me go lay these colors down real quick. And but yeah, bro, like you were saying, self-expression, and really just like I want to put an emphasis on seeking knowledge and seeking knowledge of yourself, like seeking your heart. I think that's something that needs to be emphasized, because like a lot of times people don't know what they need or like what's missing, but like it's just like if you seek out what you want, you'll find it. I think that's in the Bible, like seeking you shall find. You know
yeah, and it's important to do it in a constructive way. And like I think a lot of times about this type of stuff is just like, man, like I never wanted to get misconstrued that like I'm doing this purely for myself, but I also know, like you said, like, well, I'm doing it for me.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, you're the vehicle,
right?
You're like the vessel.
You know exactly. Yeah. Like, and that's how I'm trying to. That's really what it is. It's like it's like I get energy and fuel from people who tell me, man, thank you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
man.
And it's like. Big Sean, do you listen to rap? Sean, so like Big Sean just came out with a new album, and his first track is "Why Would I Stop?" You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's how I feel. Like why?
It's like this background thing. Like it's when you just talked about Big Sean, because there's certain songs I listen to. He kind of got this vibe where like you can hear the vibration almost. Like it's like, are you into sports?
A little bit. I'll pay attention to football, but I don't know. Like I don't go deep in it.
Basketball, like that's why I like the basketball goal that I did on the box. It's like basketball was my first like thing that I wanted to do. Like I was like, I'm gonna be on the Mavericks. Like when I was a kid, like that was I had NBA dreams. You know what I'm saying? So like I always like it's so like I'm trying to explain like my whole thought process and stuff. So like when it comes to basketball, like that one music that they use when they're coming out the tunnel, like ESPN, like that. Like I imagine Chicago my life Bulls, like that. Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like Fabulous actually did a song on that beat. But yeah, like I imagine my life like that. It's like I'm getting ready for like the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? It's like that background, like that, that vibration, like on that song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like
you can't listen to that song without.
Life. Yeah, you feel motivated, like you just finna get to it. You finna dunk on somebody. You know, so like that's like my life has that. It has a beat. Like it's always a beat. Like there's a background, like vibe. Like, and I think that's where the music comes in for me too. Like I'm tuned into it. Like it's like that. I would say that music that I was talking about, that Bulls 90s era. Like that's kind of like the best example I can give. And it's like I feel like I'm getting ready for my best moment. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times when I dream at night, like it's a reoccurring dream, I'm always getting ready for a big event. That's what it always feels like. And that doesn't necessarily mean like the Grammys or something, but like it's a big event, like my next step in life, I guess. Like that's like a reoccurring dream for me.
Well, you know, like if you think about it, life is a big event.
Bro,
you know,
the cosmos is unfolding.
Right? Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing that we get to do what we do in terms of just waking up and breathing. But I do want to speak to the fact that like there's gonna be people that don't hear that music. You know what I mean? People wake up and they don't hear the music. They don't know how to, you know what I mean, get that juice.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Or it's hard to find. You know what I mean? So like, is there ever time that music is quieter for you, or silent,
man,
or
you dope, man? Real talk. You really go in, bro. Like, man, shout out Aaron Dunn, man.
Oh, thank you, man.
Facts,
I appreciate
it.
Facts.
Man,
What do you think about that
music, man? So I've been so grateful recently to be inspired left and right. Honestly, like, and I'm not bragging about that. I humbly say that because there have been a few moments, probably in the past couple years where I'm like, because I hadn't even got my everything I want to do, like even even just painting wise, like fashion. I hadn't even got to some of the stuff I want to do. I still got projects laying around that I haven't finished. I'm always thinking ahead of the curve, so like it's a blessing to be inspired, like to have these ideas, because really it's only been a few times in the past few years where like I'm like, okay, like I don't know what's next. You know, I'm finishing up this painting, but I don't know what's next. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it rarely happens. But I kind of just like, when me follow my heart every day, I kind of I get inspiration from random stuff. Like it'll be a conversation, somebody will say something, and then I'll turn it into lyrics, or like I'll be thinking about it and turn it into lyrics, or like or I'll see certain colors that just go together, and I'm like, oh, I want to paint that. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be stuff like that. But like, yeah, as far as the inspiration wise, like losing motivation, I'd say maybe once a month, once every 2 months, you know, I might get to a spot where I'm feeling like, okay, like my wave is kind of went down a little bit, and I'm just kind of like I don't really know, like it hasn't been hitting lately, but yeah, sometimes it do.
What do you do in that?
What do I do? Man, a lot of times if I do get to that point, like I will tell myself, like, I need to have a deep talk with myself. Like, I need to lay down and just have I call it like having a deep talk with my soul, to like to come back with answers, to come back with inspiration. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I'll do this, like, and this is a mudra, like for the pineal gland. Like you see people meditating and stuff. So like, yeah, like I'll do this and just like lay down with myself. And like sometimes I do it like, and I'm not even trying to. But that really helps relax the brain. You know what I'm saying? Like each finger is like a circuit in the brain. So I'll do that, and then I'll just sit down. Or I go to nature. Like I really like being outside. Like people complain about the sun. Like I know what the sun is. So like like.
What do you mean that you know what the sun is?
The sun, it's the source. Like it's, bro. We can really go down.
Let's go.
All right, cool.
Strong calm, man.
Bet. Yeah. So like, the sun, like when, okay, for example, like in the Bible, and this might be controversial, but this is just what I feel. So like when it says like the only way is through the Son, like through the Son and the Father, like the Son, like it's like it's all correlated. You know what I'm saying? It's like source energy. Like the Son is what is providing life, but it's connected to God. We're not leaving out God. Like I don't want that to be misconstrued. Like God is everything. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe in. Like God is everything. You know what I'm saying? God made the sun. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like the sun, that also correlates to the solar plexus. Like going back to chakras, and that deals with self-love, and that's the solar plexus. Like it's the sun, and it's the same sun that's in the sky. Like it's in your body. You know what I'm saying? So I know like the sun is fueling. That's why you hear people say like they get vitamin D or like serotonin from the sun. Like it's fueling your self-love chakra. So I try to get as much sun as I can. And if you notice, like the more time you spend in the sun, you become happier, you become lighter, you know what I'm saying?
And there's science to back that up. Like, you need to be, we need sunlight.
Facts. Like they even said it killed corona. That's what they say.
Big fact.
Just saying.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's really great. And like, I think that, you know, just kind of going back to like, you know, Kanye says every superhero needs his theme music.
Oh man, come on, power.
And like, you know, to kind of wrap that up of like when you don't feel that, because there's times where I don't feel it.
Yeah.
But there's more times than not, I hear it.
Yeah.
But I'm also listening for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think there's enough people listening for it.
Oh.
And if it's not that, it's crowded out by everything else.
Right.
Like we're letting other things knock us off our frequency.
Yes.
The frequency that we were actually born to
Yes.
live
Naturally.
in. Right.
Naturally. Yeah.
And I think that that's just a higher calling, that there's going to be some people that suppress and say no. There's going to be some people that get lost and can't hear it clear.
Yeah.
Then there's going to be people who go, I'm gonna clear everything out, and I'm gonna tune in to that.
That's deep.
And
that's deep.
I feel like you're the third guy. Like I feel like you're tuned in. You're, you know what I mean?
I do my best, man.
And even though it's not like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm tuned in. You know what I mean? I'm tuned into something.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to make it the best that I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where it's gonna go.
Right. Right.
Or if it's gonna go like, Jay-Z, Kanye level, or
right.
whatever it is. But
right.
that doesn't mean I'm not gonna shoot for that.
It's something. Yeah. And then and going back to what we were saying about like when that wave does crash, and when you do feel like you're in that dark spot, the perception that I have adopted about that is that, like, okay, like I have become to appreciate it in a way, because it's like, okay, now I get to find something new. I get to find some new answers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like perspective. It's like, okay, I might be in this spot right now, but I know I'm gonna come out with something greater than what I was before.
I love that. Yeah.
Like an evolution thing,
Awesome, man.
It's like I'm gonna come back with some answers.
All right, so that's communication. That's the first C. We got about 25 more minutes. And so we're gonna go into the second C, which is community. And before we do that in a real intentional way, we're gonna bring in some comments. Man, the gang is all here, man.
Hey,
Natasha Johnson, so cool. DPhillGood is the best.
I see
HEARTgang.
Yeah, shout out.
If you don't know, you know. Thanks. Awesome interview. Thanks for that. Marcus, man, he's gonna be on the show.
That's the GOAT.
Could You Be Love Foundation.
Hey,
shout out to Could You Be Love Foundation.
Thanks.
I love what he's doing.
Hey, man.
And he's gonna be on the show for sure.
Yeah, I meant to shout them out in the beginning. Shout out Sybil. Shout out Ella Soulful Kitchen.
Lit Tyler Collective's very
Shout out Lit Tyler. We putting on for the 903. And
it's thanks to Uriah for that. It's Round Ball Rock by John Tesh. John Tesh wrote that? That's dope.
Bro, we learn something new every day.
Shout out to John Tesh.
Bro, thank you.
Drinking the water.
Reese, what's up?
Okay. So thanks for watching, y'all. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for subscribing and all that kind of jazz. Okay, so the second C is community. And so the reason I tap into community is because there's so much power in it. And like we were talking a little bit before about like East Texas and how we don't get a lot of love. We talking about self-love, right? Yeah. Like the East Texas community, especially like Tyler, we don't have a lot of self-love sometimes. Facts. And we don't like tap into the value that we actually can bring to the world. I remember as a kid, I started like the first touch that I could get on like, I don't know. It was just, growing up and you get TV, you listen and you watch TV and you're like, wow, superstars, right? Right. And then like, I don't know what it was, but like a world event or something was happening. And I came to the realization that, there's people in Hollywood and they're living their own little life, right? And we big them up. Yeah. Like they're the only one, right? Yeah. But I'm the only one here in Edgewood, Texas, small town East Texas. And then there's other people that they're the only one in Nebraska. Yeah. They're the only one over in, Eastern countries. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So like I very young, I realized that like, no, just because we have a select view of channels doesn't mean that that's the select few of people that have something to bring. Matter. Yeah. And matter. Yeah. And like, I've always been passionate about like, there's a lot of value right where you're at. Yeah. And sometimes you just got to create it though.
Yeah. What separates you from them?
So what do you love about Tyler? And why are you still here and not like, taking the pilgrimage to Austin like everybody else?
Right. Yeah. So like I was born here and I grew up. I left here when I was 11. I moved to Dallas, Lancaster, Oak Cliff. Grew up out there, and then like we moved back to Tyler in 2015. And when I came back, I didn't want to come back at first. I really didn't. You know what I'm saying? I did feel like it was a ghost town, all that good jazz, like whatever. So came back home, and I'm like, okay, bet this is my circumstance. But I was loving it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like naturally, I began to paint more and get into art and stuff like that. And I just started finding my way here. I started meeting different people like that were into the same things, like art wise, and just like basically they have the same like mindset as far as like elevating the area, like noticing that there's a space here that needs a flame lit to it. You know, it needs more fuel into it so that like we can just elevate the area. So once I started to like make more art and like people were gravitating to it, and I'm like, man, like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like the ideas that I bring, like the colors that I bring to the area is needed here, you know. So like why like I'm not leaving until like I leave my mark. Like I make sure this area is elevated. You know what I'm saying? So I have dedicated myself, especially the past 2 years. I put the 903 on my back, like Tyler, like I'm representing, like I'm putting on for the city.
Yeah.
Like for real, like because like I feel like why like people need it, like real talk. And it goes back to what you said about the ego thing. Like I'm not just saying like I'm the dude, you know what I'm saying? But like at the same time, I know the ideas that I want to bring. Like I want to build a park with like this made out of artwork. You know, I want to have more skating rinks here. Like everything, you know, like I just want to turn it up. So like I'm here for a reason. Like it's God that has put that in my heart to do that, and that's why I haven't left, because I feel like it's my responsibility.
That's leadership.
Yeah.
That's leadership.
It's my responsibility.
That's what. Yeah. I love that. When you're looking around for somebody to solve a problem,
man,
and everybody's looking around.
Yeah,
and you're like, man, somebody's got to do this.
Yeah,
you're probably the one to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm definitely a solution-based thinker. You know?
Yeah.
If there's something that needs to be solved or a problem, okay, let's figure it out.
Yeah. And that's what I love about. That's who I want to have on the show. That's what this show's about. It's about those solution-based people with strong calm. Like you're doing things with your time, talent, and energy that you have, and you're bringing it to the forefront and saying, here it is. You know what I mean? And I really appreciate you leaning in to the community for it.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
I want to talk about this too. So you're drinking water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I know.
Shout out Elu, man.
Yeah. I know.
Be loved.
And I really want to talk to him about this, but
it's tea time.
Yeah. But like talking about like you and him and like everybody in this like HEARTgang kind of movement is very, very conscious of like,
hey man,
what's happening in my body, what's happening in my soul, and what's the connection point between those two, and all this kind of stuff. So do you want to talk about that a little bit of like what does that mean, and why is it important, and that kind of stuff? Because so go ahead on that, and then
I would say my introduction to health wise was back in 2012, 2013, and I was eating a burger one day, and like literally I just heard a voice say, you need to eat better. And I'm like, I had never had that thought. Like growing up, I ate bad. Like, I'm talking about pepperoni, bacon, cheeseburger, everything. Like, candy. So like, I never had that thought. Like I used to look at salads and fruit. And I'm just like, what? So like, I had that thought, and then I started eating like chicken salads, like cutting like some more salads, and I started just coming across people that were vegan and stuff. And like then like I started hearing I was on YouTube looking at information about like alkaline water and connecting to nature, and like how like when we connect to nature, like the food that we put in our body, like if we eat from nature, like we're one with nature, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like, so like I became vegan for like a year and a half, and like that was the best time of my life, honestly. Like
really,
like I just felt better, like I had more energy, like I felt like I don't know, it was just awesome. Like it was less anxiety and stuff like that, you know. So but then I got back to eating meat, but now I'm back off of it now. But yeah, like I feel like it's a chemical, like how people say chemical imbalance, because like I've been diagnosed with like ADD, like, and I deal with anxiety and stuff like that. And I think it's because of chemicals. Like it's part of it is what we have in our body, and like nature is not like in sync with nature. So it's like we deal with anxiety and stuff like that, like different chemicals. It's in the food, beer and like cigarettes and stuff like that. You know, it's throwing off our balance. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I said, that was the best time of my life when I was just eating clean. Yeah. So now I'm getting back into that. You know, water is like most important. Like you gotta have water if you don't have nothing else, and don't drink tap water. Like I gotta say that, like please don't drink tap water because it got fluoride in it.
Gotta get the filtered.
Yeah,
I got a filter on
alkaline,
mine.
Yeah, or like this, like Crystal Guys are like they need to pay me, but anyway, yeah, like Crystal Guy, like this is naturally the pH balance is at like I think 7.2. So yeah, it's like alkalinity. So like anything under 7 is acid, anything over 7 is alkaline. So like yeah, like your diseases and stuff, it come from acidity, you know what I'm saying? And it's like clusters of like cancer and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like come from like eating too much like acidic food, you know what I'm saying, or acidic beverages.
Yeah.
So it's important like to this goes into energy too, you know.
It does, and like I've been eating pretty healthy, like so. I would say, like you know, when you're growing up, I mean, I'm eating, you know, double meat cheeseburgers, anything and everything. And it's crazy, like thinking back, I'm like, what was I doing at 16, eating double meat, double everything? You know what I mean? And it's like, I didn't need all that. You know, it's like, why am I eating less now than I did then? You know? But like over time, you start to learn that, but sometimes you don't. And so I'm thankful that, you know, through podcasts and videos and stuff like that, I've been able to kind of dial in, you know, what is healthy. And then of course, I'm not saying like I'm like super healthy and all that kind of stuff. I'm definitely gonna have an Andes, you know, like, I'm gonna
that's balance.
Yeah, I'm gonna indulge in stuff like that. But like I really do think that there is a connection between like the food that we have and then the mindset that we have. Like if you eat trash, you're gonna think trash.
Man, that's deep. Yeah, that's deep. Yeah, and then a lot of people don't think about like animals, like you eating animal, like especially like how they're bred and stuff, like with all that like in them cages and stuff, and they like having fear. Like, cause think about this, like probably I would say over 80% of the world has anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Everybody might not talk about it, but a lot of people have anxiety. So why? So like if we think about the animals, most people eat meat too, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like animals that was like they died in fear and anxiety, you know what I'm saying, from being in the cages and stuff. So it's like what we putting in our body, it like correlates, I think, to anxiety and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting thought. I don't know if I'll go that far. But at the same time, I see what you're saying. Like, because I eat meat and all that kind of stuff.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I like, why not? Like, why not? You know, I think it's a good thing to think about. Like, I think it's a good thing to think through of just like, and another thing is just like trying different stuff. You know, we can get so locked into a pattern.
Right.
And I think that's really what I kind of wanted to highlight is just like, we can get so locked into a pattern that we think that this is just how I do things and this is how I'm always going to do things.
Right.
And it can be so tempting because it's so easy. Like comfort zone, fast food. You know, it's easy to get those like quick, you know what I mean? Like the food that's the worst for us is typically the easiest and fastest to get into our system. Whereas like the stuff that's great is going to take.
You got to go find it. You got to think.
You gotta think.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta think. Like when it comes to like, cause there ain't no vegan spots like just right out the bat.
No.
You gotta like, and then if you gotta cook it, you know what I'm saying? That's another thing.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta think like, okay, yeah, bro. But like you said, what's a lot of times what's poisonous or what's easy is readily available. You know what I'm saying? It's right there. Like, and I think that's another correlation of like just maybe some quantum stuff going on. Like, what's worth having and worth finding for our higher self is like it takes some diving into like research, you know. It takes some time. That's another thing. And that's another thing my heart has taught me is patience. Definitely. Like searching my heart space is connected to the whole universe. So it's like, you know, like everything happened for a reason. You know in your heart, like I am where I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, patience is definitely one thing it's taught me.
That's a really interesting thought too, of just like thinking about, you know, like everything's connected in a very real way. You know what I mean? Like Carl Sagan talks about like we are space dust, you know what I mean? And I think you're touching on that a little bit, but it's also like, you know, you think about, well, if I just wanted to veg out on TV or veg out on TikTok, I could do it all day. You know, if I just wanted eye pleasure, if I just wanted ear pleasure, I could just do that all day. But and it's easy to do.
Right.
It's tempting.
Right.
It's always here in our pocket.
Readily,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like those type of things are so easy to do, but it takes that extra thought, that extra intentionality, that extra tuning in, that listening, that music
Yeah.
to really go a different way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Otherwise, you're going to get programmed, like you were talking
Yeah.
about at the top, of just
Oh,
like you're going to
man.
get programmed into whatever other program somebody else is doing.
Yeah. Cause see, like my mind was going into like, cause like even with evolution, like people like to separate that from God, but it is like it's the same thing. Like God, like because the devil is spelled backwards. I mean, the devil is live spelled backwards. So
I never.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, and we can go into that. Like the English language is like full of like stuff, bro.
What else you got? Because this is Strong Calm Podcast. Man. I love language, so I never thought about.
Yeah, that's communication.
So, what do you think about that? Devil is like,
it's lived.
Yeah,
it's lived.
So why is
living
that
backwards?
Why do you think that is significant?
Significant?
Because
so like going back to the programming thing, like God is like evolution, like it's evolving, like, and then love spelled backwards is well, that's
evil,
that's
right?
Evil.
Yeah.
That's evil, but like it could be evolved, like evolved. Like evolution, you know, because it's literally EVOL, so it's like evolving. So it's like, and God is love, so it's like evolution, but like living backwards. Like I feel like the devil, like that's like basically the programming is like for us to live, like you say, like it's ready, like what's bad, poisonous, or like what's easy is readily available, just like crime. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like if you want some fast money, like if you go rob somebody or something, or you know do whatever, like. That's easy. Like that's why people do it. You know what I'm saying? It's easy money. They feel like, but like to actually like start a business or something, you gotta like think.
Yeah.
Like you gotta. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy because like in business, there, you know, I do trucking, freight, and everything, and there's times where like we hear stories of people that are like, man, like if you would have just done it the right way, you're working so hard to do it the wrong way.
Yeah. Real talk.
That if you just put that same effort and energy into the right way of doing things. You'd probably be pretty good at it.
Yeah.
You know, and you'd actually make a living.
Really. Yeah.
And not play with the risk.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get burned.
Right.
You know?
Right. And a lot of times, like when it comes to like the crime or whatever it may be, there's like living backwards. Like that's like a lot of times it's selfish. Like and this goes back to the community thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you know it's like when it's something bigger than you, like it's not selfish. Like it's a lot of people connected to it. Like, it's connected to everything. So I think that's another point too. Like.
Yeah.
Just about like as being a human and having an ego and stuff like that.
Yeah. How can you bring other people into the fold? And that's what I really appreciate about like HEARTgang. Like you've got more than just your art and what you want to say going on. You've got a movement that you want to invite people into.
Yeah.
Like a tribe, like
follow your heart.
Yeah. And I think that's what everybody needs in some way. Like everybody needs something to tap into. Everybody needs something to. How are you getting people connected? You know what I mean? And how are you keeping people connected?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we all need each other in some capacity.
Facts.
At some point.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like our common denominator is our heart. Like everybody has a heart. You know what I'm saying? Like heart to take heart.
Yeah,
like, that's what it is.
But what I love about what you're saying is that like, everybody's got one, but not everybody's tapping into it. Not everybody's doing the chisel like you talked about. And that's
a guy told me one time, like randomly, I think he was homeless or something. Like I was at the store and he was like, "Humans without hearts are statues." Like he just said that to me out the blue. Yeah, fact. It is. Nah, he was spitting. Yeah, like he just said it out the blue. Like humans without hearts are statues. And that stuck with me. Like I don't know if that was before I read The Alchemist or after. I can't remember. But yeah, like they like the chisel, like you breaking like, and that goes into like atoms and stuff, like because like you say, like the energy is free, like it's free flowing. But like over time, like for whatever reason, like your heart can't harden. You know what I'm saying? Like you can build up walls. You can just choose to hate. You can choose to be negative. You know what I'm saying? Just because like like your love capacity is closed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That goes back to chakras too. So it's like chiseling is like you literally your body, like you're breaking atoms off to like be free. Basically. You know what I'm saying? And with that, like I believe in flight. Like I believe I'm gonna fly one day. You know, all that type of stuff.
Like physically fly, like Superman.
Yeah, like
Whoa.
levitation. Yeah, I really believe that, And like me and my friends, like we consider ourselves superheroes. Like we meditate and stuff. We into all that.
That's dope. That's dope. I mean, why not, man? Why not try it?
Yeah. Nah, yeah.
But there's also like, there's myths and stories out there about like, monks and stuff being able to do some crazy
shooting
stuff.
fire at their hands. Yeah, real
crazy
talk.
Stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like this goes back to the TV programming, like perception, like that the normal person would be like, bro, that's only in movies. Like you crazy. Like we perceive like programming from movies. Like movies is programming for sure. Like movies, like bro, like not all movies though, because some movies have the intent of giving people knowledge. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But like, like the mainstream though, like we've been programmed all our life. So like, the average, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember walking through the lunchroom as a kid and like, I don't know, I just had that realization at one point of just like, man, sometimes we just eat for mouth pleasure,
Oh man, hey, shout out Elu. He said that. He was like, "Are we just eating for mouth pleasure, or like, are you eating to like?"
Yeah, and the poet in me takes that to everything. You know what I mean? Like, am I doing this just to do it? Am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, what's that second layer, that third layer?
Yeah,
it's that work.
Because when you see people obese, like the 600-pound life, the shows that come on, it's so like sad. That's mental. Like it gotta be.
Yeah.
For you to get to that point, like it's mental. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you brought that up because that goes into other things, like not just eating, like anything, bro. Like that could become detrimental. Like when people get to a certain place in their life, it's a mental issue. You know what I'm saying?
One thing that Elu was talking about, like he's talking about Sober October.
Yay! Sober October.
Yeah,
I'm in there.
I wanted, same. I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit.
That's lit.
With the last, we got like 4 minutes.
Man,
so we'll touch on that, and then we'll touch on like one more thing. But to bring the third C, the company aspect. Seems like we could talk.
Are we gonna like? Is it gonna stop at 60 or like?
No, we can go on for a little extra.
Oh yeah,
so we're good.
Going.
Yeah.
Nah, we ain't gotta go all day, but like, I know we doing something good. You know
So talk about that a little bit because I'm passionate about that. I've seen drugs and alcohol hurt friends, family. It has ended lives prematurely. It is and it pains me to see it when it squelches people's potential.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I've seen that in my own life of just like I do this thing for my own physical pleasure.
Yeah.
But I do also know that it's taking me out of my purpose.
Yeah.
And that conversation does not happen enough.
Yeah.
And you talk about programming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we see it all the time on every channel. You know what I mean?
It's drinking is normalized.
It's joking, it's ha ha funny stuff. Yeah. But in the meantime, it's ruining lives and squelching really what's possible. So talk about stuff that might be unpopular. Like that's unpopular because it has become an idol to our culture, and I think to individuals as well. And not to bash, because like, dude, I love craft beer. Like, I think it's cool. I think there's an art to it. I think it can be appreciated. But at the same time, I've seen it just wreck people. And it can become such a stumbling block that like I'm so passionate about seeing people really reach their vision.
Right.
And like making it real that like it's not worth it at the end of the day. So that's my perspective. I want to give you your, what's your perspective on it? And like, why is it important to you?
It's like choices, there's always a fork in the road. I know that I had a time where I was addicted to like pills and stuff, and like I would be drinking, and I just see that as it was a crutch for me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always a choice. Like for me, I have like social anxiety that I deal with, like natural, like I don't really like socializing for too long, unless like it's something like this like it's a conversation that's going somewhere, like something that we can build upon. Because like a lot of times be small talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm introverted naturally, you know what I'm saying? So I like to, so like I just rather just be in my internal world. But as far as like, yeah, like that, and I think that leaned into me, like I was becoming a social drinker and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Feeling like, oh man, I need to have something that just kind of like let me, so I can feel loose. You know what I'm saying, with people and stuff like that. And yo, man, like I'm 3 years sober from the pills. You know, I was addicted to Ambien for like 7 years. You know, thank you, man. Yeah, like I was addicted to that for like 7 years, and yeah, like as far as when I stopped doing it, it was like something in my heart. Like I was already HEARTgang, like I was already following my heart, and like my heart just knew it was time to move on from it. So I think ultimately though, like people don't give science no credit. Like substance, when it comes to substances and water, anything chemical that we put in our body is a substance. Like we're alchemists. We're all that goes back to the book I read, The Alchemist. Like we're all alchemists, and alchemy is like when you like essentially it was, the term came from like turning lead into gold. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're always transmuting chemicals. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's naturally or what we put in our body. So we're all alchemists, you know, and that's what people, when you're drinking a beer, you're drinking like, or like popping a pill or smoking weed, whatever it may be. Like you're an alchemist. You're creating. You're making. You know, you're creating this experience for yourself.
Yeah,
almost like an alternate reality. And like at this point in my life, I don't want to alter my reality anymore. Like I want to be in this one because like I know I'm gonna have to come back to it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like what motivates me to remain sober at this point in my life, because it's like I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you leave. You know
right. Well, and I think that's something that, you know, I think a lot. That's why. But the unfortunate truth is that people do want to leave.
Bro, I'm glad you said that. Cigarettes, bro.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah.
Bro, because like when I stopped smoking like blacks and stuff and like cigarettes, bro, like when I see somebody smoke, I'm like, damn, I look crazy. Like that's what I was doing, bro. Like I think that's subconscious suicide. Real talk. Because everybody that smoke, I don't care who it is, like mostly for the most part, people that smoke cigarettes, I never really just met somebody that say I love smoking cigarettes. They just do it to like relieve something. But like, bro, like that's like subconscious. Like you don't want to be here, bro.
Yeah.
Period. Like, and I know that might come off harsh, but it's true. Like it's, to me, because most people that do it, they be like, man, I really want to stop. I don't like doing this. I don't know why I do it.
Yeah.
But I'm hooked on it. Like it's like subconscious suicide, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it does kill a lot of people. I mean, and there's just
people make,
and everybody knows.
Yeah, facts.
You know,
facts. I'm just saying though.
Yeah. And it's a hard thing. And like, you know, I know that you are it comes off harsh. You're an empathetic person. Yeah. We're not trying to bash anybody.
It's just, I'm definitely not.
But it's also like it's an effort to like awaken and like and say like maybe it is, you know, like that is a sign.
I never thought of it.
It's just like the introspection. Introspection is really hard to do. Especially like if you don't have the tools and the training or the model, the example to do that. And I think that you know, it can be really, really hard when you rely on something when to take the edge off, right? Like, because that's why we reach to some of these substances, right? Of like, I'm trying to you know what I mean? And instead of wrestling with whatever that is that's happening.
Yeah, because it can be mental. It can be mental, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times it is. And I lost my thought. But yeah, like I think that it definitely is like a deterrent for like just leaving that reality.
Yeah, but kind of what you said to call back, like I don't want to leave this reality. And that's just a beautiful thing, because what that shows is that you're grateful for what you've got. Yeah. And I think gratitude really comes into play with that. Yeah. And just understanding like, hey, you know, life's a trip anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It is.
And so like there's so much value that can be extracted from it that, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. But and let's see. Congratulations on the baby, by the way.
Yeah. Shout out to my baby girl, Rhiannon Sage Phillips. I actually got her on my back.
Fire content and questions. I appreciate that. Oh,
put
nice.
Her name on there.
Oh, is that your daughter?
Yeah, I put her name as Rhiannon. It
That's
says
awesome.
Riri on it. Yeah,
That's awesome.
put it on there, man. Yeah, bro. Going back to like the alchemy though, like bro.
Appreciate the shout outs, y'all.
Yeah,
Appreciate you watching.
Thank y'all.
All right, so to wrap this sucker up, we're going long because it's a good conversation. So I really appreciate you being
peace
here.
And love, bro.
The third C's company, and I flipped that with it, to talk about business, help people in the business realm, but also the company that you keep. I like edifying, you know what I mean, people, and that's what this conversation I think has been, at least for me, of just man, good energy, right? So to wrap it up though, like, you're a full-time artist.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not hard. That's not easy.
That's a blessing.
Yeah. So talk about like the money aspect for a little bit of like if I'm sure there's other artists out there, there's other self-employed people out there, like, what have you learned through this process? What do you feel like you need assistance with or help? And like, what, would you say is something that like you're like, I don't know, like how are you making it work?
Man, so like money wise, I'm lucky to have a support system, honestly. I'll start there. Shout out my mom and dad. Like, I got a place to stay, so that's helping. But as far as like actually making money, like, I'll get commissions through canvas work. And also I make clothes, so like that's most of my money comes from making clothes for the most part. Like, I do like vinyl shirts and stuff. I'm actually like looking to get into direct to garment, like to up the quality and stuff like that. But like, the clothes business, like that's working out very well. And I also like make prints of my artwork, and that helps like bring in like more income, like, because like canvas work, like with making canvases, like that takes time, it takes more time. So like I'll make prints of my art and then I'll sell those too. But like the clothes, that's where like most of the bread and butter is.
And you've got one on right now.
Well, this like I spilled some carrot juice on my shirt on the way up here, bro. I was really upset because like I wanted to show it off. But fam, this is like a painting that I did, and I just
it's got a woman in it. I just noticed.
It's the Queens of the Earth. And I just put it on the crew neck, So we mostly do stuff like this, and then actually I got you something.
Oh yeah, I knew this was coming, but I appreciate it, bro. This is fire for sure.
Flibrations.
Flibrations. What is that about?
So I was, how the Facebook memories, like, you can go through your memories. So like, I was going through one day, like some weeks ago, and I saw I had made a status called Flibrations. It goes back to me wanting to fly and stuff.
Yeah.
Like flying, so like vibrations, but it's flibrations. Like, you vibrate so high that you fly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that is dope.
Yeah. So like,
I'm all about that.
I'm
all about, and it's a strong calm blue. I just appreciate it as well. Gotta get
that's my favorite color, baby blue.
That's awesome.
Strong calm blue.
Yeah.
Bet. I love that. You need to get the trademark, man.
Right.
Yeah, bro.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's what it is.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
So vinyl. Vinyl.
Tell people how they can find and like support you, get your clothes on their back, because if you look at the Instagrams below that scroll, DPhillGood on Instagram, as well as HEARTgang 777, you'll see some of his artwork and you'll be able to purchase, I imagine.
Hey, come on. Spend all your money.
But most of all, look fly doing it. You know what I mean? Like I like the way that you communicate your ideas, and I love like some of the stuff that all the stuff that you're doing. I think it's really, really cool. So
it's a moment in time, for real.
Yeah, and putting out these good ideas into the world, it kind of comes back to like there's a lot of messaging and stuff that we could buy into. And a part of the reason and motivation for this podcast is to really highlight like the local dollar matters a lot. You know what I mean? And like
shout out to everybody.
Like not only does it impact the person receiving it, but it can also impact you as a person. Like, because when I sport this, I know that I'm sporting East Texas, HEARTgang. I know
the connection,
and not only is like the messaging is really cool and strong too. So like when somebody does inevitably go, what's that say? Or what is
Oh,
that
yeah,
on your
it's a
shirt?
million. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I can talk about vibrations. It's like vibration. It's like vibrations, but you vibe so hard you fly.
Yeah.
It's like, I know that's gonna turn a key for somebody. You know what I mean? Like I just love the fact that I might be able to introduce somebody to a new kind of like idea. You know?
Yeah.
And so like that's why I really love and what you do,
Definitely.
man. So
Definitely. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, we getting it together for Tyler, Texas, period. Like, we want galleries out here, we want stores, we want everything. And yeah, business wise, I just been trying to figure out the legal stuff and figure out like how to expand. So I'm working on the website right now. It's on Shopify, but
Nice.
you know, it's cool. You know, and they can make my shirts for me and merch, keychains and stuff like that. So,
Awesome.
yeah, working on that to expand, and that way I can focus a little more on other stuff while they make my clothes.
Yeah.
I just want to be a designer. Like,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily care to make the clothes myself, but like I want to come up with the designs and stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, you got it on lock. And so
thanks, bro.
Anything I can do to help.
Thanks, bro.
Let me know.
Appreciate you, fam.
So thank y'all for joining the show. Thank you for sharing it, subscribing, and all that kind of stuff. DPhill, what a good dude, right?
I do my best, man.
Like man, this conversation is definitely encouraging. You are encouraging. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Next week, actually, I've got a great guest that I'm hopefully going to be able to lock in. But you'll have to wait for that. So
hey,
talk to y'all soon.
Love.